the architects of our new modern Adamawa state, a 3 times presidential award winner as Best Governor on Urban and Rural Infrastructure Development, our dear talk and do Governor. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, and Chairman of this unveiling ceremony. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Shayi Makinde, MNSC, DSC, GSSRS, ably represented by his Deputy, His Excellency, Barrister Abdurrahim Adebayo. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, Professor Caleb Tepoa George Farauta, and all other former Deputy Governors here present. His Excellency, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, former President of the Nigerian Senate, and our keynote speaker at this event, the Speaker of the Adamawa State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Batia Wesley, my Lord, the Chief Judge of Adamawa State, Honorable Justice Hafsat Abdurrahman, members of the National and State Assemblies here present, serving and former, Honorable Ministers, serving and former, the PDP State Chairman, Honorable Hamza Bello Madagali, the President, Consumer Court of Appeal, and other High Court judges here present, the former Secretary to Government of the Federation, Bauchi, our book reviewer, Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kuka, the Bishop of Sokoto Diocese and founder of the Kuka Center, the book unveiler, Comrade Mustafa Saliu, PhD, the National Vice Chairman, Northeast of the All Progressives Congress, and co-unveilers, the Secretary to the Government of Adamawa State, Honorable Barrister Awaldi Tukur, and other former secretaries to the government, the Chief of Staff, Dr. Edgar Mosandi Jagaban Kabas, the Head of Service, Pharmacist Issa Shewan Roymenai, Special Advisors to His Excellency, the Executive Governor, our revered Royal Fathers, areas and chiefs across Adamawa State, the author, Finitiri, the man they could not stop, Chief Solomon Kumangar JP, Chairman of Local Government Councils, Chairman, Local Organizing Committee, Honorable John Gamsa, PhD, members of the Steering and Local Organizing Committees, other distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today for the public presentation of a remarkable book entitled Finitiri, The Man They Could Not Stop, authored by the distinguished writer, Chief Solomon Kumangar. This book chronicles the extraordinary journey of resilience, determination, and democratic triumph of our dear Governor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Dr. Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri, CON, GSSRS. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to formally open proceedings, I have the honor of inviting the Chairman of the Steering Committee to deliver the opening remarks. Can we have Honorable Barrister Awaldi Tukur, please?
Sorry. I
continue in the name of the Almighty God, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Let me begin by giving our apologies for the rather choked up room. This wouldn't have been a normal venue for such an event, but with the sort of governor we have, who never leaves any building untouched or unrefurbished, what would have been our normal venue is currently being refurbished. So my apologies, we are having to make do with this room. My apologies to our dignitaries, my apologies to so many people who are standing, but it's all for a good cause. Your Excellencies, my lords, spiritual and temporal, distinguished and honorable personalities that are present here this afternoon, Your Majesties and Your Royal Highnesses, our esteemed members of the PDP national family, from our national chairman, members of the NWC and the BOT, and of course our own local chapter here, our invited guests, ladies and gentlemen from all spheres of society and community, good afternoon. In my capacity as the Secretary to the State Government of Adamawa State, and on behalf of our Governor, the Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri, CON GSSRS, his government, and the people of Adamawa State, I welcome you all. For those of you visiting Adamawa State, the land of beauty, I especially welcome you and trust you will have a wonderful time and depart with fond memories of your visit. In my role as chairman of the steering committee for this occasion, that is the book presentation titled, in quotes, Finitiri, the Man They Could Not Stop, close quotes, and authored by Chief Solomon Kumanga JP, and on behalf of all members of the steering committee and the local organizing committee, I equally welcome you to this venue. I have the pleasure to specifically acknowledge the presence of the chairman of the occasion, Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, and indeed also as our keynote speaker this afternoon, His Excellency Dr. Bukola Saraki, CON. It is with delight I also welcome the book reviewer, the Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kuka, Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Sokoto. There's never a dull moment whenever Bishop Kuka is speaking, and I look forward, as always, to listening to him once again. We welcome our esteemed book unveiler, the Honorable Comrade Saliu Mustafa. God bless you, and thank you for your time today. We all look forward to a beautiful program this afternoon. Thank you, and welcome once again. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Secretary to the State Government, Barrister Awol Ditukur, for that warm welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, we are going to have the singular privilege of inviting the chairman for this book launch to the podium for his opening remark. All the way from Nasarawa State, the home of solid mineral. We thank you, Your Excellency, for honoring our invitation. Thank you for your unparalleled dedication that brings the wealth of your experience and adds color to this occasion. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil karim. Your Excellency, my dear brother, the Governor of Adamawa State, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Professor Kaletepwa George Farauta. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Oyo State, Barrister Abdul Rahman Lawal. The Right Honorable Speaker, Adamawa State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Bauchi Wesley Mwabwana, and all the other members, members of the National Assembly who are present here, the Chief Judge, High Court of Justice, Adamawa State, Justice Hafsat Abdul Rahman, my boss, my Oga, His Excellency, the former President of the Senate, Senator Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, Your Royal Highness, my father, the Lamidong Adama, Dr. Muhammad Barikindu Ali Mustafa, and all the other royal fathers who are here, the National Chairman of PDP who is here, the National Chairman of my party, the APC, National Vice Chairman of my party, the APC Northeast, Salihu Mustafa, PhD. Members of the Adamawa State Executive Council, the book reviewer, my dear Oga again, Most Reverend Matthew Hassan Kuka, Secretary to the State Government and other states who are here, members of my own entourage that came with me, chairman of the local government councils, top government functionaries, private functionaries who are present here, distinguished guests, distinguished members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let me use this opportunity to openly condole my Oga, who I have said earlier, condole him over the death of one of the leaders in this country, who happens to be also his in-law, Otumba Adekunle Ojora, and may his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Let me first and foremost show great appreciation to my brother, His Excellency, the Governor, for inviting me to share this occasion. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with deep sense of honor and responsibility that I stand here before you as chairman of this historic book, Unveiling. Beyond that, and very importantly too, today, we are actually unveiling the truth, courage, and resilience of my brother, His Excellency Governor Umaru Finitiri, as well as democracy in the face of adversity. I'm actually yet to read the whole book, but I've been able to glance through. Finitiri, the man they could not stop, which is authored by another very distinguished gentleman, Chief Solomon Kumangar, whom I have known to be a veteran media professional. I have, however, glanced through the book, and I see not only a ceremonial tribute, but really a serious political biography, governance audit, and democratic testimony. This book interrogates power, it documents resilience, and it reminds us that legitimacy ends by Umaru Finitiri, especially in climes such as ours, undermines every other side effect that will come. Therefore, legitimacy and from people is the strongest shield any leader can possess. Right Honorable Finitiri represents a model of people-centered leadership that cannot be derailed by conspiracy or manipulation. Democracy, especially in our own climate, can be undermined not only by force, but by procedural manipulation and institutional betrayal. But courage, truth, beyond politics, this book is a governance scorecard. It is particularly comforting for me, for I am a believer that leadership is about service to the people, services that are measurable, verifiable, and for the interest of the majority. Adamawa has witnessed tremendous growth, as captured in these books from what I have seen, and I can attest that because I was the group managing director of the Dangote Sugar Refinery just before I became the governor. And therefore, Yola had been a constant place for me because I had to travel to one of the subsidiaries called Savannah Sugar Company in Numan. Therefore, I'm very familiar of what has taken place in Yola since Governor Finitiri came in. I'm also familiar of what has happened in Sheleng, as well as in Guyuk and Numan itself. So congratulations for the wonderful job that you have done. But in addition, I also see the restoration of workers' dignity through salary clearance, massive investment in roads, hospitals, schools, and urban infrastructure, education reforms backed by consistent scholarship payments, digital revenue reforms that have strengthened your IGR, respect for local government autonomy, a leadership style that is hands-on, visible, and accountable. These are not mere abstracts or the writing of a media aid. They are outcomes, and outcomes are true language of a governance. I have also seen tolerance, where when a hired crowd at one of your events was shouting, "Bamai, Bamai, Bamai," and I saw a governor that tolerated enough to say, "Kaima Bamayinka." And at the end of the day, the governor asked the DJ to give him a good tune, and the governor danced it out and played it out. That is democracy. My brother, you are working like a true progressive governor. And I dare say, you have the APC in your DNA. We are on the same page with you. We are the current governors, and local government chairmen can attest carefully that we have seen tremendous amount of improved revenues as a result of renewed hope economic reforms. We must say that a big thank you to Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, for the wonderful reform that he has done and has put more money in our hands. I think we should clap for Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. Which brings me to one of the reasons why I came here. I think, Your Excellency, the Governor, you have seen us going to Delta, going to Rivers, going to Enugu Plateau, Taraba, just 2 days ago. And I'm sure you have seen us going to Kano. And who knows, this may be an expedition that I'm coming to do, another big catch. I have come with a cap just in case His Excellency is thinking of something similar. I can wear this cap on you, and I think we can go ahead. If I had known that my boss will be here, I would have come with 2 caps. But I don't think it's too late. On a more serious note, my brother, as a sitting governor, In my second term, I understand the weight of leadership. I understand the loneliness of decision making. And I understand the courage it takes to govern with conviction and pressure. Leadership is not about popularity at all costs. It is about clarity of purpose, consistency in service, patience, and fear of God. Governor Finitiri's journey, as calculated in this book, reflects a true and many are well to know. With all this, I thank you for inviting me, and I pray that God Almighty will continue to unite us for the benefit of Nigeria. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State. Your Excellencies, our Royal Highnesses, our Royal Fathers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Next on our agenda is our cultural performance. We all will agree that Adamawa State is a state that has rich cultural heritage. So we're going to give you a little bit of that so that you understand what our state is made of. So to take us into this segment, I am going to invite my co-MC in the person of Mr. Charles Doke to take us further. Thank you, Excellencies.
Thank you very much, Nacha. Your Excellencies, our very dear Royal Fathers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I crave your indulgence to recognize the presence of the former governor of Kano State, His Excellency Malam Ibrahim Shekarau, who has so graciously adorned this gathering with his presence. To add color and celebrate our rich cultural heritage, we have lined up brief performances that reflect the vibrancy of Adamawa State. And in this particular order, we have the Margi dancers from Madagali, we have the Vulma dancers from Maiha, the Bauchi dancers from Newman, and of course an Adamawa hip-hop sensation simply called Voices of Yola. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate the rich cultural tapestry of Adamawa State, we shall now be treated to a captivating Zagwa performance by the Margi dancers from Madagali. Please make your way to the stage. The Margi people, if you must know, are one of the oldest and the most vibrant ethnic groups in Adamawa, and their dance have been passed down from generations to generation, serving as a powerful expression of their history, spirituality, and communal identity. You can take the stage. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the Margi dancers. Thank you. Mungode. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being gracious with your claps. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, fresh from the hills of Maiha, we are now pleased to also present the Mbaya dancers from Maiha. Before they get set, and I'm sure I can see a pot coming in, the Mbaya dancers carry out what you see as a cherished tradition among the people of Maiha, and indeed Adamawa State. The dance is deeply rooted. The dance. Thank you very much. The Mbaya dancers, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That graceful, thank you. A round of applause for them, for that graceful, proud, majestic, and rhythmic movement. And all these dances actually tell the stories of resilience, togetherness, and the enduring spirit of the people of Adamawa. And this is a theme that resonates very beautifully with the very subject of today's book presentation. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, hailing from the historic town of Newman, we are delighted to present the Bauchi dancers. As you all know, Newman has always been recognized as a cultural hub in Adamawa State, and the Bauchi dance is one of its proudest cultural exports. You have the floor.
Waka gwamna Finitiri demand they could not stop. Diga bakin Steve na yi so no one 080397379. Waka shine Honorable Innocent Koto. Finitiri demand they could not stop. Ya riga ya kure Malaysiansa. Don komai sayin wani kuka ba zai shige rijiya ba. Finitiri babban rijiya domin kowa da kowa. Rijiya don shin gaba idan kana neman shin gaba. Rijiya don development idan kana neman development. Kana neman flyover, ka zo Adamawa. In kana neman flyover, ka zo Adamawa. Ko kana neman side by side, ka zo Adamawa. You can never stop Finitiri. You can never stop Finitiri. In your down here easy, Baja Baya. Shesa Solomon Kumanga Finitiri, the man they cannot stop. The man they could not stop. Finitiri, the man they cannot stop. But as we hear the Shiva, Finitiri, the man they cannot stop. You can one eat him with Finitiri, the man they cannot stop. Solomon Kumanga Yarigaya, when you pull me, Finitiri, the man they cannot stop. Wari bam 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 bam. Mamuya zama malika wari kule. Look behind them ya do a Finitiri kapwa numero. Finitiri zaman kaya ide de mutanen numuna gaisuwa. Wanda ya shebe so gaba da goma ya tambaya. Lalle gwamnan talakawa zaman ka yayi daidai innocent ku je shi ku gaishe da kai. Duk wanda ya bai so ka ba da goma ya tambaya ya ji sosai. Domin gwamnan Nasarawa His Excellency Abdullahi Sule ya riga ya fada. Ya ce you are exceptional, outstanding kuma. Deputy gwamna Professor Kaleta Kwata fada. Ta ce ya nuka mu kware. Honorable Kwamati Lawari yana shaidan ka ya ce wannan lumura da ke na kaborau ne kan Right Honorable Party Wesley shi ma ya shaida ya ce in ka she za ka yi ba ka sha baya. Justice Hafsat Abdulrahman
Thank you very much.
Honorable Awal Tukur Aishi ma yana shaidawa. Abubakar Bukola Saraki ya riga ya fada. Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kuka yana shaidawa. Comrade Salihu Mustapha ya yarda da lamarin kan gwamna. Duk sarakin Adamawa ba kuwa sun shaida.
These are my slaves,
sun shaida.
and they really know how to dance. Thank you to the Bauchi community. Thank you very much. Very, very quickly, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to add a melodic and soulful dimension to our cultural showcase, we are pleased to present to you Voices of Yola. As the name suggests, this talented group draws its musical soul from the heart of Adamawa's capital, Yola, a city that is steeped in history, culture, and artistic heritage. Yes. Voice of Yola? Yes, sir. Carry on.
Sunana don sadi wani ke irin shege ke ejire ta mafiya, amma asali sunana Faisal Yakubu. Let's go, muna godiya, muna
damuna ta zo ruwa ya yi gyara an rusa ko ta ina tsakiyan gari ta yi kara na je abuja oktoba na sauka karuwa don uba na je ziyara gun abokiyan bi dan wuta aboki ya kira ni zaskit zamani me ke trending ya ce min aboki ka dawo don an rusa shopping an rusa police ran about an rusa mu biran da about tsakiyan jimeta an rusa har gidan su dausa an rusa lawan ma an rusa da gaji ran da about an rusa shila a gari a kawo farauta an rusa
da so samu ne Finitiri ya kara 80 cause it don't make sense our former government babu update
ana rushe-rushe a yola amma ai duka dan gyara ne da gaske duk mai zagin Adamawa yana neman suna ne da ana ƙara ATS kan mulki a radu da sai ya ƙara don yana da zarra baya jure fitsara belle a marci gyara bugawa makiya kusa kan gyara ko ina a rusa police ran about bai kaji mu biran about da kasuwanni duka a rusa
I no get loke, I no get no face, I no pay no gain. Me I no fi dey back. Jimeta J town, Jimeta na big town. Baba Finitiri thank you. Jagaban na arewa, number one na arewa. Gwamnan Adamawa, mai tausayin talakawa.
haske ya haska mun ga gari duk ya canja ga nutsuwa ga kima kai abin ya bada karisma a gwada da kai a gaban banci ka bar makiya ne akan benci wannan aikin ai kun san shi aikin waye aikin oga tafiya ai ta daure kun san ko an je a dawo jimeta tiyola muna yin shi ya kamata a duba shi maganan na duba shi aikin na duba shi
to ina gwanin wani ganawa mai kishin Adamawa jagoran talakawa gwamnonin da mun kai can baya ba mu samu irin ka ba dan baiwa wanda ba irin sa Afirka ka gyara flyover shi yasa muka ma kuriya over ba ka rike albashi wannan gefen ma mun duba ka ba da tsaro sosai marasa kunyan duk sun duka gwamnoni ka mana hanyoyi ko ta ina ka sa fitiloli
Thank you. Karburusa gaba daya. Thank you. Yana ba da wuta tun ma ba ku yi magana ba. Mun gode, thank you very much. The voices of Yola, they bring the kind of music, the kind of soul that has been entrenched by the development strides and prowess of our dear governor, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri, who would literally leave no stone unturned when it comes to pulling down old and worn-out structures to pave way for new and enduring infrastructural masterpieces. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. While we were being entertained by the Yola voices, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Bauchi State, Dr. Bala Mohammed, the Kauran Bauchi, walked in. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for being so gracious to attend this historic occasion. For us to have 3 governors coming for an event such as this actually goes a long way to tell you the kind of value our very own fresh air governor brings to national discourse. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would hand over to my colleague to take us from here. Nacha?
People and our cultural dancers across Adamawa State. At this juncture, we have received a warm regard from Tijani Ahmed Galadima, the ESPTDF. He sincerely apologizes to you, Your Excellency, sir, that he is away in Dubai for an official engagement. hence his absence. But I believe his spirit is with us. Thank you very much. Now, right on our agenda, we are going to receive the keynote address from the 13th Senate President in the person of Dr. Bukola Saraki. The podium is yours, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. While he's making his way, we are all aware that His Excellency was the former governor of Kwara State, and because of his insights and leadership and resilience, he is here to grace this occasion and add more color to the encapsulation of Finitiri, the man who could not be stopped. Thank you, Your Excellency, sir.
His Excellency, the subject of today's book, our host, the Governor of Adamawa State, Right Honorable Ahmadu Finitiri, Excellency, the Chairman of this occasion, Governor of Nasarawa State, Alhaji Abdullahi Sule, His Excellency, the Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, Deputy Governors of Adamawa State, Professor Parwata, Deputy Governor of Oyo State, Mr. Alabi, distinguished senators, members of the House of Representatives, honorable speakers and members of the Adamawa House of Assembly, Chief Judge of Adamawa State, members of Adamawa's State Executive Council, our royal fathers, leaders of our various political parties present here, particularly Alhaji Kabir Turaki and Comrade Salih Mustafa, the author of the book, the reviewer of the book, Bishop Kuka, local government chairman, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is my pleasure and honor, in spite of the happenings in the last few days for me personally, to leave that to be here in Yola because of my close relationship with His Excellency, the Right Honorable Finitiri, the Governor of Adamawa State, and my great respect I have for the good people of Adamawa State, and also because I cherish to celebrate and associate with good projects, programs, and policies that serve our people. My relationship with the man of the moment goes back over a decade, when he was then a speaker and then an acting governor. I saw in him then an individual who was very focused, who was very determined, who was very strategic, and who was very intentional. These are the qualities that are important in delivering dividend of democracy to our people. However, I need to confess, I've not had the opportunity to read the book from cover to cover. But I can only guess it gives an account of the stewardship of Governor Finitiri, who has served for 80 months. If I'm right, then this book must present a bold move, because it is only a governor who is sure of his performance so far and his achievements that can do what we are celebrating today. So let me congratulate you for being bold and courageous to put before us, particularly your electorate, on what you've been able to do in this opportunity you've been given. The book is another effort to report back to the electorate and to submit yourself to their judgment boldly. The governor is sending a clear message to the good people of Adamawa State that they should feel free to assess his work and give a verdict. Only a leader who is sure of his performance can do this. The book emphasizes the importance of leaders being intentional and having a plan. A lot of our leaders get elected just for the sake of power, and are not interested in service nor in performance. But what the governor is saying today is that I am here to show that I am here to serve and to be judged by my performance. Books like this will go a long way in challenging and supporting and improving our democracy, because it allows us, the electorate, to have clear accountability, to look at and review the stewardship of a lot of our leaders. Also, this book that we're presenting today gives us an opportunity for us to understand the policies, politics, programs, and projects of a governor and his administration. They provide the history of an era in the life of a people. They're enriching the National Library. We are telling the generation coming after us what happened before their arrival. And we are directing the attention of the present generation to what they might not be aware of. This is an area that we are very weak in general in this country, in the area of history keeping, in order to guide the future generation. As a country with a young population, events like this are so important in guiding the young ones who are coming ahead and in laying the right foundation for a greater country. So yet again on this point, let me congratulate those who have organized this event. It might appear that it's only about the governor, but no, it touches all the facets that are important in making this country a better country and strengthening our democracy. I want to enjoy all of us present here, and those that are not here, to endeavor to get copies of this book so we can familiarize ourselves with the story of administration. We should also endeavor to ensure that the younger ones in the various secondary schools, tertiary institutions in the state and beyond have access to this book. I urge the governor to ensure the book is distributed to these in these schools as soon as possible. Getting the book to schools, youth groups, general public is the best way to let people know about the period, which will help to disseminate the message and circulate the book. I am sure a lot of people who also want to know the story behind some of your projects. It is not just the projects itself. How were these projects designed? What were the challenges? We've been talking a lot when we went to the commission this day and today in the cultural dances and display, where people have said, if you are demolishing for good value, continue to demolish. Because people need to know why, what has led to this. And I think this is very, very important as we transform into the next phase of this great country. I would not want to make a response to the chairman of occasion, but I can at the same time I will not keep quiet. Chairman of occasion, okay, he came some caps. I'm sure you'll be going back home with those caps. Governor, the party cannot be a breeding for performance. If we are not performing, you will not try and recruit us, which means they are performing. We'll continue to perform, not only as a governor, but the leadership of the National Assembly, of the party, deputy governor, and all of us who are here to hear what has made Finitiri the man that cannot be stopped. And let me use this opportunity to remind you, Governor, you still have another 16 good months to continue to deliver more evidence of democracy and serve your people until the last day of this, your tenure. And pray that Almighty Allah ensure that you end well on a high note, because you have worked hard for your people. And I hope that the people as well, because loyalty is reciprocal, he has devoted his time, and I hope the people of the state too will also show that love and that affection. On this note, as I deliver this, I wish us all a successful occasion at this very important occasion. Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, sir, the 13th Senate President. That was quite insightful, and we appreciate you for appreciating our own governor, the people's governor, Governor Terakawa, His Excellency, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri. If you would agree with me that Adamawa State has indeed been modernized, If you were here 10, 15 years ago, you would have known that quite has changed. And we are proud to say that we are living in a modern world. At this juncture, we're going to have a documentary and a video presentation that will further enlighten and to give you an idea of what has taken place in the state, in case you have not the privilege of going around. And to take us in this segment, I'm going to invite my co-host, Ahmadu, to take us into the video documentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed to the formal review of the book, we have prepared a short documentary that captures the legacy and achievements of His Excellency, the Governor of Adamawa State, Right Honorable Dr. Ahmadu Finitiri, CON GSSRS. This 5-minute documentary will provide context to the resilience and leadership that inspired this book. May I request the audio-visual team to roll the documentary, please. Can we have it now?
Audio Jungle.
5. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This is what we here in Adamawa State call the Finitiri magic. Can we give His Excellency a round of applause? Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, every book has a genesis, a reason for being written. To share with us the inspiration behind this work, I am pleased to invite the author, Chief Solomon Kumanga. Chief Solomon Kumanga is an accomplished writer whose works have contributed significantly to our political discourse. Please join me in welcoming him to share with us his thought, his inspiration of this work. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Adamawa State, Governor Ahmadu Finitiri, the man of the moment, Shashilgar Sarkasara, Shashilgar Madagali, Margi Special to the world, Your Excellencies, the Governor of Nasarawa State, who has just spoken, and his kindred governors, the Governor of Bauchi State, Senator Mohammed Balad Aura, Nadala Usmania, Your Excellencies, our distinguished guests, you permit me to recognize each and every dignitary here this afternoon, even if I cannot mention each and everyone by name, but it is embedded in my heart. I begin this moment of reflection and remembrance with gratitude to God Almighty, the ultimate author of purpose, the giver of strength, and the quiet custodian of conviction. Without His grace, no work of memory, no act of testimony, and no labor of conscience can endure. The writing of this book, such as this, is not an exercise in comfort. It is actually an act of faith, faith in truth, faith in history, and faith in the enduring value of leadership that places people above power. It is a commitment to preserve memory where forgetting would have been more convenient, and to document leadership where silence would have been more safer. This book, Finitiri, the man they could not stop, did not begin as an idea in search of expression. It began, sorry for the break of transmission. It began as an idea in search of expression. It began as a responsibility and obligation to history. I speak not as a distant observer, nor as a casual commentator, but as one who has known the governor closely, who worked with him in service, both as Permanent Secretary and Director General Media and Communications, and who shares with him a common kindred origin. Such proximity is no license for praise. It is a demand for honesty, closeness, shapes judgment, strips away illusion, and compels fidelity to fact. It is for this reason that this book rejects incense and embraces evidence. His Excellency, Governor Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri, requires no chorus of praise singers. History is a sterner, more exacting witness. This book does not seek to appropriate him, for by his own conduct and conviction, he belongs to all and belongs to none. He is not the property of tribe, party, or personality. He is a public trust, mandated by the people, shaped by their aspirations, and sustained by their consent. At its core, this work records moments when power was confronted, when governance was elevated above spectacle, and when a deeply entrenched political conspiracy yielded to the supremacy of popular legitimacy. The events surrounding the 2023 governorship election in Adamawa State were not incidental. They constituted a defining test, a stress test of Nigeria's democratic institutions, its electoral process, and moral resolve. Within these pages, I introduced the concept of hoodooism, not as a slogan, but as a cautionary framework. It is the anatomy of a coordinated attempt at electoral subversion, a reminder that democracy can be undermined not only by force, but by procedure, not only by violence, but by silence, not only by arms, but by compromised institutions. That chapter alone ought to provoke sober reflection among all who hold Nigeria's democracy dear. If this book serves as an enduring function, let it stand as a reminder that integrity in leadership will always outlast conspiracy, that the collective will of the people remains the ultimate authority, and a democracy demands vigilance not only on election day, but every day that follows. May this book stand as a record, may it stand as a reminder, and may it stand as a resolve I thank you most sincerely.
Thank you very much, Chief Solomon Commander. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the centerpiece of this event, the formal review of the book, and I want to call it with my full chest, as we say it in Nigerian parlance, Finitiri, the man they could not stop. Now, to undertake this very critical task, we have with us, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a voice of moral conscience in our nation, a scholar, a public intellectual, a constant advocate of justice and good governance. Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kuka, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese and founder of the Kuka Center and co-convener of the National Peace Committee. He is renowned for his fearless commentary on national issues and commitment to truth and accountability. Your Lordship, we eagerly await your review of this very important work.
Difference between His Excellency the Governor of Nasarawa and the former Senate President, and so they don't need to stand on the existing protocol. But for obvious reasons, I should stand on the existing protocols. Let me not take too much of your time, but please let me respectfully stand on the protocols that are already established. I was actually supposed to be statutory at this particular point in time. I was rounding up the chairing of a meeting of Veritas University in Abuja, of which I'm chairman, pro-chancellor and chairman of council. But for the first time, I had to adjust the date because when His Excellency called me, the thread was veiled, but I got message, and since he didn't want to take no for an answer, I had to concede. But I'm also here, and I think Your Excellency permit me, let me say in solidarity, your courage, your boldness. I want to thank you because you smoothened a few fellas, but let me ask God to grant eternal peace to the soul of Ardo Bawuru, who lost his life. I also congratulate you for setting Sunday Jackson free. May this healing become a reality in our lives. The writer of the book has already done most of what I was supposed to do. He wrote the book himself. But let me take the next few minutes or so. The book itself is made up of 5 chapters. It has an addendum, which are voices of endorsement from friends, colleagues on the subject in question. Chapter 1 of the book is titled The Voodoo of the City. In this opening chapter, the author literally enters the scene with historical guns blazing. In a very eloquent, alluring, and gripping language, the author provides the reader with a historical backdrop against which to appreciate the entire theme of the book. In this way, the reader is guided into the ecosystem that produced the subject Ahmadu Finitiri. In his narration, history literally collides with cultural metrics, formed in the forest of distorted worldviews, views and claims founded on dubious supremacist walls of liars and manipulators of the existential realities of history, producing in the process what I call mixed visions. The author helps the reader appreciate why ideals tend to fall on their faces in Africa in general and Nigeria in particular. A failure to understand these realities can be daunting and frustrating. However, the author argues, and I quote, "These visions, often ambitious and idealistic, are frequently treated as noble ends in themselves. But beneath this grandeur lies a fragile underbelly, the disturbing absence of foundational cohesion, sincerity of purpose, and cultural intelligence requires to translate vision into progress." Again, the author argues, and this is on page 12, the author argues on page 13, in the Nigerian case, the failure of integration is more pronounced and deeply tragic. The colonial enterprise in its utilitarian drive coupled together diverse ethnic groups, most of whom had no shared history, cultural affinity, or mutual historical vision, into one geographical contraption called Nigeria. The indirect rule elevated certain ethnic groups as indigenous allies, not for their vision or merit, but for their utility. Leaders not by organic consensus, but by imperial design. As the British prepared to exit, it scripted a transition not for national sovereignty for Nigeria, but for power continuity through its proxies. Page 13. In the author's view, it is a combination of these distorted worldviews and skewed power-sharing mechanisms that laid the foundation for the emergence of what he calls, in chapter 1, Hoodooism. The author is quite trenchant in explaining what could be seen as a bold attempt to add to the political lexicon in Nigeria, because until today, and until this book was written, nobody ever heard of the word Hoodooism. But to the author, Hoodooism means, quote, a political religion with an imperial creed. Power must never be allowed to slip into the hands of those who will challenge the status quo or dare to unite the people. And this is on page 16. The author goes on to situate the nature of the instrumentalization of levers of power that has enabled Hoodooism to flourish. Hoodooism derives from the name of a gentleman hitherto unknown to many Nigerians. His name is Hudu Yunus Ali, a lawyer who had been serving in Adamawa as the resident electoral commissioner. Although the highest ranking officer to oversee the electoral process in the state, he apparently went beyond the call of his duty to announce the results of the elections, even before the process had been concluded, thereby usurping the powers of the returning officer. According to the author, this constitutes what Macbeth said in Shakespeare's play by the same title. It constitutes what the author calls, on page 29, eating the insane root which had taken reason prisoner. The author accuses Hudu and Senator Binani, the would-be beneficiary of this perfidy, of sharing instruments of the same orchestra. Again, that is on page 26. In making the case for Hoodooism and its characteristics, the reader will find words like weapon, cartel, thug, assassination, guerrilla welfare, mercenary, drug-fed, fire, warriors, untouchable, and so on. They are all thrown in between pages 24 and 26. Chapter 2 of the book speaks of the issues of religion, of the ignition of hope for a people who are hitherto under the radar of opportunity, suffered tremendously. According to the author, the emergence of Governor Finitiri is described in this chapter as the emergence of a breath of fresh air to people who are hitherto faced suffocation from lack of development. This earns him the sobriquet fresh air governor. In chapter 3, the author addresses the issues around what he refers to as the essence and the driving force of the man, his mission and his mandate. The chapter highlights the agenda that drove Governor Finitiri, his strategy, his achieving the hopes for renewal of both the cultural worldview of his people and the challenges of bringing them to the daylight of development. In chapter 4, it is perhaps the most decisive chapter in the book because the author teases out 11-point agenda for the governor. This agenda covers rural infrastructure, internal revenue mobilization, accountability and transparency, health, education, agriculture, security, commerce and industry, civil service reform, youth empowerment, and environmental protection. The author says, in this, the author has set the examination and actually marked the candidate, and he refers to the list as a superlative scorecard. If this is already a superlative scorecard, all we can do is to cross-check, cross-reference, and verify. The list is not one of empty claims because there are locations indicated and timelines that are verifiable. So all the critics can do is not to quarrel with the facts and the claims, but to legitimately be encouraged to trust but verify. As they say in Hausa, Ganiya Koriji. Let me now simply attempt to summarize this superlative scorecard. On rural infrastructure, the author presents the governor as using this as a way of impacting the lives of the citizens of Adamawa. Infrastructure is literally everything, and here using the provision of water and power supply, the setting up of Community and Social Development Agency, the Ministry of Water Resources, Housing and Urban Development, collaboration with national and international NGOs and donor agencies, the governor is able to pull together and engage in the transformation of the lives of the citizens of Adamawa State. In the lives of the people of Adamawa, it is a case of the fulfillment of what we find in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 10, namely, a people that walked in darkness have seen a wonderful light. In agenda number 2, on internally generated revenue, it showed that by developing technological innovations such as the use of TSA, biometric exercises, BVN, online payments, the government was able to reduce corruption and increase revenue to the state, with salaries now coming on the 25th of the month. That is said on page 126/27. The investment drive that brought Bua Cement to Guyuk, increase of vehicles in the transportation sector were all life-changing strategies for the development of the state. Agenda 3 addresses accountability and transparency, a very thorny issue in a thoroughly corrupt country such as Nigeria. Following the innovative strategy of publishing allocations to states and local government, citizens are exposed to understand and to cross-check the resources coming to their state. So rather than the arbitrary promotions in the civil service that many in our country, Nigeria, are used to, the state introduced examinations as conditions for the promotion to the position of permanent secretary. Agenda number 4 speaks to the health issue, and it lists a spread of facilities provided across the state. This includes locations and stages of completion of all projects. Out of the 46 projects listed here, none apparently was left uncompleted. Again, you can find that on page 145 and 148. It is left for the communities themselves, the individual citizens in Adamawa State, again, to be vigilant and to verify. Agenda number 5 focuses on human capital development. Again, the reader can see from this development across the state, because they are elaborated on pages 169 to 174 and on pages 177 to 178. Agenda number 6, 7, 8, 9 speak to agriculture, security, commerce and industry, civil service reform and youth empowerment, and finally, environmental protection and climate change. The book ends with voices and perspectives, being a documentation of interviews and comments of friends on the subject. The book ends with a selection of speeches and the subject covering different thematic areas in the course of his administration. The last pages of the book, which is pages 311 to 332, present a list from the Ministry of Works showing projects and their status as of 2022. Again, readers have an opportunity to check, cross-check, and verify the claims made in the book. And now, having given you a glimpse into the book, I wish just to take the next few minutes to do what I'm called here to do, namely to critique the book. And I just made a few points, 6, 7 points. First, the reader of this book will be left with no doubt as to the commitment of the writer to his subject. He does not shy away from the fact that he is first partisan and dedicated to giving the world a view of a man he has admired and had the honor of working with. To this extent, the book, those who admire or wish to vilify the governor have been served all that they need to weigh the subject. Thus, the first thing to say is to commend the author for undertaking the task. Its importance lies in his presenting us with a back-to-back view of the man, Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri, his struggles to power, and how he has used that power for the service of his people. Writing history is important for the development of nations because citizens have a chance to weigh the struggles of the winners and the losers. 2, the author deployed his skills in making a very good case for his principal. He has written out of conviction over the personality and the achievements of his principal. The only way to quarrel with his conclusion will be for his critics to write their own accounts or offer corrections and interpretations. This is how history shapes public opinion and enriches society. When these corrections are made and clarifications are made, then readers will appreciate that in the end, history has no finishing posts. The author himself demonstrated this by interrogating our assumptions about colonial rule and what I refer to as caliphal historiography. 3, the villains in the book are Barrister Hudu Yahya Ari and Senator Aisha Binani, according to the author. To him, Barrister Ari is a civil servant turned mercenary or political manipulator on page 18. We all have to wait Barrister Ayi's and Senator Binani's responses, not only to the charges, but to the author's characterization of their intents and purposes. We cannot blame Senator Binani, in my view, as a contestant for stepping forward with a speech, especially if she had been told that this coup has succeeded. In 1986, in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, Maradona scored a goal against England, obviously with the result of using his hand, as you can see from the video. The referee let the goal stand, and when Maradona was asked, Maradona said he scored with the hand of God. So, Senator Binani could have claimed that her victory may be the result of the voice of God. The burden of proof lies with INEC, not with her. In all of this, the stories are still incomplete. Both the accused owe themselves and history an account of their own side of the story, because this is only one side. Only after all shall we know the real story. As Max Ehrmann, the American poet, wrote in his famous poem that has now come to be known as the Desiderata, he said, and I quote, "Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story." 4, there is a cautionary tale in dealing with this very important subject of the book, and this is one of the greatest beauties of Nigeria. It is also a reason why generalizations and stereotypings are dangerous in interpreting history and facts. The complex web of our dear country and the intersectional relationship beckons on all not to fall victim to stereotype or inhabit an imaginary world in which we are only separated by social class, religion, ethnicity, ideology, and so on. We are in this mix. Senator Ishaku Abo comes across in the book as one of Aisha Binani's allies. Yet, he's a Christian. It is easy to call him a traitor, but it adds to the beauty of politics in Nigeria. Again, how do we explain the fact that, and I'm happy that the governor of Bauchi is here, my good friend, whom I haven't seen for a long time. Because Barrister Ari is from Bauchi. And the strange thing about this, and listen to me very carefully, the strange thing here is that if you follow this conspiracy theory and you tie it down to religion or any other thing, the chairman of INEC, Mahmoud, is from Bauchi. So you would have expected that Mahmoud will do Barrister Ari a favor. And yet, from the same Bauchi, despite being Muslim, whatever you may say about about INEC, under his chairmanship, they were still able to overturn the result. And I think that is a plus for how complex Nigeria's politics and history is. So the point I'm making here is that from reading this book, we must understand the complex web, that Nigeria is not divided between Christians and Muslims, or men and women. Nigeria is a complex, very beautiful country whose beauty lies in the complexity of these identities. Because today you find yourself aligning with somebody for a different cause. Next tomorrow you find yourself aligning with a Christian against a Muslim, or aligning with a Muslim, two Muslims aligning against. So this is politics, and I think the great beauty of politics is that it enables us to walk through these identities and to weld a nation of good people. Fifth, there are other lessons. The issues are not in black and white, Christian or Muslim, men and women. It is interesting also that in the book, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the Wazir in Adamawa, is presented in the book as the mother of twins, not able to sleep on one side. He maintains a dignified neutrality in the politics of Adamawa, at least within the context of the politics of the moment. He shows the major maturity of a statesman, rising above the fray of local politics. Governor Finitiri has been accused by the narrow-minded of not being a good Muslim because of his policy of incorporation and seeing beyond the limited and blinkered view of religion. However, this is how it should be. Good politics should build, not divide our communities. The author labored to make this point of the urgency of inclusion. And this is a legacy that the next generation of Adamawa youth, sons and daughters, must try to pursue. This is why I was very pleased to watch these Adamawa voices sing, because I don't think all of them are necessarily Christians, but we can see that the next generation is looking beyond. You can compose a wonderful orchestra made up of different voices. Beautiful music comes when different instruments are harmonized together. Sixth, in all this, it's a beautiful piece of writing. The book is not a biography of Governor Finitiri, as his friends call him, or AUF. We have to wait for him to do so by writing his own autobiography. For a book of over 300 pages, we have only 12 paragraphs and less than 4 pages speaking to us about the life of this man whom they could not stop. We don't know what water he drank. We don't know how he managed to achieve this spirit of invincibility. But we have to wait for that. Because the subtitle is Unveiling Ahmadu, Umaru, Finitiri. In all this, the author is at his hyperbolic best. And he does so with justification. And I just quote a few things. He says, for example, that for Governor Finitiri, religion is a bridge and not a wall. A personal compass and not a public sword. Governance is a platform, not a pyramid. Governing not from the peak of power, but from the trenches of compassion. And that marriage is a divine harmony and purposes of a relationship. At least in speaking to the marriage of Governor Finitiri and his wife. But of course, he makes the point that both of them were born on the same day. But as I said, he gives us a very good account of what it is that makes this man to do the things that he does. My friend, Bishop Stephen Damimanza, who is not here, it was from him that I heard so much about the governor. I can not remember how many times I will call Bishop Mamza, and he will say to me, oh, governor has just left here now, or the governor came yesterday. I was quite envious, but this is a holy envy. I have interacted and watched power at very close quarters, but the chemistry between the governor and the people of Adamawa is exemplary. On the 12th of April 2021, I was here in Yola with my friend Bishop Mamza and His Excellency to launch the IDP housing project built by the Catholic Church for men and women of all faiths. I did call on the Muslim community here and in the whole of northern Nigeria to emulate this gesture. Because I also call on my Muslim brothers, let's find common institutions that we can build other institutions, not just about Muslims coming to Catholic schools. We'd like Catholics to also go to Muslim schools. Not about Catholics coming, Christians coming to, Muslims coming to Christian hospital. We want to be able to have social spaces that we can interact. And we cannot interact by just conferences and seminars. And then on the 1st of November, I was here, I was here at the university when Bishop Mamza received his honorary doctorate degree. I heard all the wonderful things that were said about him. Your Excellency, for displaying that true leadership is about courage to take decisions that are life-changing and costly, but in the long run, build societies. Without the whites, apartheid would not have ended. Without courageous Muslim leaders like you, we will remain trapped in a cesspool of bloodshed in the name of religion by children of the devil who believe that some people are superior and others are children of a lesser God just based on religion. We have to work collectively in Nigeria. Because I used to say to my friend, the Sultan, I said jokingly to him, had you been born in Southern Kaduna, your name would have been Thomas or Philip. Had I been born in Sokoto, my name would have been Abdullahi or Ahmadu. So these are, we call them human construction, but what do we make of them? And I agonize because what is happening to us in Nigeria is not happening in Ghana, it's not happening in Sudan, it's not happening in Niger, it's not happening anywhere. There is no other country in the whole world where they can kill 10 people on Monday, 50 people on Tuesday, 100 people on Wednesday, and we are still celebrating and nothing stops. We can't go on like this. Finally, Your Excellency, I wish that His Excellency can use this, his experience, and I'm happy that three very important people who are here. Governor of Bauchi, Governor of Nasarawa, former Senate President, who have had quite some interaction with the Catholic Church. But the appeal I want to make through all of you, we the Christians in northern Nigeria, we need to create an opportunity. Let us sit down and talk not about our faith. Let us sit down and talk about the future of this region that is sinking and sinking and sinking. Because nobody is going to die here. It's only in Nigeria that people die as Muslims. They die as Christians. And yet, no cops ever told you that I'm dead because I'm a Muslim. It's not acceptable. There has to be a day that citizens of Nigeria will die. The Western media and our local media continue to fuel this, that 20 Muslims have been killed, 20 Christians have been killed, and yet just seeing dead bodies in a particular location doesn't tell you who the people are. And it's not in my text, but I give you an example. One day somebody came to me, they traveled all the way to somewhere in Niger State, where a pastor had been involved in a car accident. And he died on the spot. Few people survived. But because they waited a day, second, they didn't see, and because he was wearing agbada, they just assumed he must be a Muslim, and they buried him according to Islamic rites. Now the people waited, finally they heard that their man died in a particular location. They showed up the location and found that the man had been buried. The body was already beginning to rot. What are you going to carry a rotting body back home because he was buried by Muslims? These are things that elsewhere people have settled them. It's only in Nigeria that we are still battling with all these things and will not be able to progress. Please use your voice and help us to tell your brother governors we want a platform to sit down so we can work together. In 1973, the staple singers, family, one man and 4 daughters, you remember, they sang a song called Bridges Instead of Walls, where they said, and I quote just a few lines, you know, they used to sing, time we built up bridges instead of walls. You know, you are all looking at me. If I weren't a priest, I would have been a musician. But I know, I always tell people, I know only my mother may buy my music, not everybody. But the staple singer says, and I quote, it is time we build bridges instead of walls and give peace a chance to come across walls. Too long we've been isolated. It's time to communicate. It's time we communicated. It's time we build bridges instead of walls. You, Your Excellency, can lead this choir. Finally, please join me in congratulating His Excellency, but also join me in congratulating Solomon Kumanga, whom I have never met actually. I just saw him. I thought they said you were a chief man. I didn't know that you were. Who has done an excellent job in writing a book whose contents are ideologically strident but factual. It is a book that should be read both by supporters and political opponents alike. In doing this, the opponents might best best plan how to stop him, while his supporters will appreciate how and why it is necessary for them to consolidate their gains so that he cannot be stopped. The author has told us why they could not stop him. However, are they to assume who they are? The author didn't say. But are we to assume that those who couldn't stop him have been routed? Why could they not stop him? What lessons have his followers learned to ensure that they too cannot be stopped? For if, after all this, the legacy of justice, equity, compassion is not preserved and imbibed by the coming generation, then the sacrifices of the subject would have been in vain. It is my hope that those who engage in the battle will keep their eyes open and ensure that together they cannot stop those who plan to do good. Thank you very much.
Indeed, he deserves a standing ovation. Your Lordship, Most Reverend Dr. Kuka, that was as usual a masterful and thought-provoking review. Yeah. So thank you for your scholarly insights and candid reflections. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please let's show your appreciation to His Lordship once more. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very quickly, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, we are privileged to have among us one of Nigeria's foremost media personalities. We call him Mr. Babajide Kola Otitoju. He's the Executive Director, News at the TVC. Otitoju, whose incisive political analysis has shaped public discourse for years, and at the very decisive moment that actually inspired the writing of this book, Babajide was one of the pawns of the chessboard of history, who through the instrumentality of his lenses documented a whole saga for the world to see and perhaps assess for themselves. Mr. Otitoju, the floor is yours for the media perspective. For want of time, it could be a remark for 2 to 3 minutes so that we'll quickly move on to the unveiling.
I want to stand on existing protocols because we journalists are not particularly good at doing that. Politicians are very good at it. A politician can spend 10 minutes recognizing all the key people present at an event, because sometimes if you don't get recognized, you can take it personally. So I want to stand on the existing protocol, and I want to say that I'm happy to be back in Adamawa State after 4 years. I interviewed the governor. I went around at that time. I wanted to know who the Adamawa people will vote for. And everywhere I went, the preponderance of opinion was that Governor Finitiri would be re-elected. And I was very clear in my mind. And when I was predicting how the elections will go, because I do that a lot, and I'm happy that I have more than 90% accuracy predicting electoral outcomes in our country. I predicted that Governor Finitiri will win, and win well. But one Sunday after the election, an apparently power-drunk INEC rec patently conceited, decided that the opinion of the people did not matter. And he tried to punch above his weight category. It's like a bantamweight electing to fight in the heavyweight or super heavyweight position. That attempt at electoral brigandage failed. Because, see, let me tell you, we journalists get misrepresented, misjudged a lot. But on that day, we were on Journalist Hangout. It was live. We decided to go straight to Adamawa State. And we made it clear to Nigerians that this was an attempt to steal someone's mandate. I'm not ashamed to say that on that day, we stood by the people and we were not put to shame. And it went on. All of the analysis, we pointed in the direction of the truth. I have already made it clear that I will be biased on the side of the truth at every opportunity. So I made it clear, look, this is the person who won the election. Don't try to steal his mandate. We were saying it. And I'm happy that Governor Finitiri is here today. He was vindicated. Nobody was able to take away his mandate. Don't worry, I will leave. I have to make this point. Nobody was able to take away his mandate. It is because we stood by him. So when you are talking about this book, the man they could not stop, we at TVC, we at Journalists Hangout, we contributed to making it impossible to stop him. And that's the way it should be. We must have elections that we can hold up on our continent as good elections. We must have elections that reflect the will of the Nigerian people. That is the only way we can have good leadership. Because when politicians believe that the people don't matter, that whatever it is, they can decide to win an election, even in places where they are not popular, we will never have good governance. We will never have the right people to lead us. And I will say this in closing, that where our country is privileged and lucky to have a succession of good elections, maybe 4 electoral cycles that reflect the will of the people, governance will improve. Because politicians will realize that they are accountable to the people, that they can be removed when they don't work for the people. Once we have that, look at what is happening in Botswana now. If we can have good elections that deliver the outcomes that the people actually wanted, and we have like 3 or 4 electoral seasons, Nigeria will change. Because you know that if you don't work for the people, you will be kicked out. This is what we always wanted. And in my generation, by God's grace, we'll get to that point. We'll get to that point. That is the point that I want to make. And in saying this, I'm not loyal to any political party. I don't even vote. I've not voted since 1999. So my own obligation is to speak the truth to political leaders, to politicians. Let's work for our people. Governor Finitiri, in closing, I will say that I've moved around. This time around, I did not even recognize some of the places they took me to. Because I'm just seeing fantastic roads, bridges all over the place. Whether the people like you or hate you, admit it or not, you have worked for the people. Kamuswaiki. The Gaskene. You have worked for the people and you are giving yourself immortality. Those who work for the people, governors who work for the people, presidents who work for the people, they live on in their hearts forever. People must bear that in mind. Thank you. They gave me 1 minute, but I apologize for spending more than that. But you need to also apologize to me later, because I should have had more time.
Thank you, my senior colleague. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate Let's appreciate the Director of News, TVC, Babajide Kola, for his insightful remarks. Interestingly, many of us in this room may have known, but I'd like to reiterate the fact that this book is written by a journalist. And we just heard the review of the book from a journalistic perspective. And I'm standing here, I am a journalist. And in this line, I would love to invite a senior colleague in the profession, who is the current governor of Bauchi State. He was once a reporter with the BBC. I'm sure a lot of us don't know that. Your Excellency, thank you for gracing our occasion. Thank you, the Kauram Bauchi, His Excellency, Dr. Muhammad Bala. The podium is yours, sir.
Thank you. Your Excellency, our host, and the man that they can surely not stop and they can't stop. Our leader, the former Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the guest speaker, distinguished Senator Bukola Saraki, the chairman of the greatest party on the continent of Africa, PDP. Tanya Mutaraki, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The big reviewer, our elder, our brother, our most respected scholar, and our moral compass. Your Royal Highnesses that are here, my colleagues, the Deputy Governors, the APC leader and speaker, spokesperson, distinguished senators. Babajide said we are politicians, we must be humble and recognize everybody. I recognize everybody. First, I apologize for coming slightly late. It was inadvertent. I had to wait and do some few things because we are celebrating 50 years of coming into being as a state in Bauchi. But because of the importance of this day, I left everything to come here. Finitiri is a phenomenon in Nigerian politics. Finitiri is not only a colleague or a brother, he has always shown us the way as a young man with courage. Somebody with a deep sense of innovation. The writer has done him a lot of justice, but I think he has spoken less of what the big reviewer has said. We would have known what is his background. Is it his minority background that has propelled him, or other socio-political issues? But certainly he's a personality that we need to study beyond this peripheral insinuation that he cannot be stopped. Yes, he cannot be stopped. And we have seen why he cannot be stopped. Because of performance. Because the people of Adamawa are well informed. They are made of people who can have deep sense of judgment. What he has done as a man of infrastructure, innovation in the rural areas. I remember the time he told me that he was going to take a loan courageously to build livestock, even before the federal government did it. Cattle roads, providing water and pasture, and developing the sector where they have comparative advantage. We in PDP, we are doing it by peer review and by knowledge. We are not just guessing and by planning. And he was able to articulate all these projects that they have shown on the screen, multidimensional in nature, where he touched all the aspects of living, the common man, and even the royalty, the social strata, where he brought a lot of issues that has to do with self-actualization, where people were given chieftaincy and chiefdoms, We learned from you, Finitiri, to go and do it in Bauchi. Even the man that tried to stop you, Ari, that is the paradox that the big reviewer was saying. He had always fought what he called the House of Fulani hegemony. In Ningi, he's from Ari, and they have always assumed that they are the rightful owner of Ningi Emirate. But because of your initiative, we gave him an emirate in Ari. So he has benefited from you, from your initiative and foresight. So I think I'm here just to make a point and to tell you the people of Bauchi respect you and we adore you. And young people in Nigeria should find in you a role model, a hero. Because it is one thing to be underrated. It is another thing to come and perform and go beyond expectations. And this is what you have done. We are very proud of you. We wish you well. And I hope that Adamawa has awakened to reality. And they will make sure that they are not taken back retrogressively in their journey towards socio-political transcendence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that wonderful remark. Now we are at the climax of this occasion, which is the unveiling of the much-awaited book, Finitiri, the Man They Could Not Stop. To do us this honor, I would like to invite to the podium the unveiler of this very book, Comrade Mustafa Salihu, the Vice Chairman, Northeast of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and he is also the Chairman, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Excellency, the Governor of Adamawa State, my elder brother, His Excellency Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri, the Governor of Bauchi State, and my boss, former Senate President, Bukola Saraki, Lamido of Adamawa, and other traditional rulers here, I beg to stand on the already established protocol due to want of time. I'm indeed very grateful and honored and humbled for this great opportunity given to me to unveil this great book. I'm fighting the temptation to attempt to review this book again, given the fact that 3 of my lecturers from first degree, MSc, and PhD are stayed here. So they expect me to attempt to review this book as an academic. But because my father has already done more than justice to the review of this book, I will try to fight this temptation and also admonish my lecturers to forgive me for fighting that temptation, not to attempt to review this book. I've written a lot of things that I intend to raise with regards as a critic of the book, but my father has done justice on that, so I think I will skip that. I will only add just few things. Number one, I want to look at the title of the book itself. The title does not justify what is in the book. The title of this book should be Finitiri, the Destiny's Child. Yeah, because this is a man through which the most diverse state in the country came together across ethnic, political, and religious lines to fight for democracy. Number two, my father put the question that who are the they? For me, I feel the people that are referred to as they in this book are the orchestrators of Hoodooism. And they are not significant enough to even be personified as they. They are not significant enough because they did not represent the Adamawa state, they did not represent what we think, they did not represent us as a people. Neither the act of Ari represent Bauchi state, did not represent the character of Bauchi state, or did not represent Bauchi state as a people. So these people should not even be personified as they, because they are insignificant and they couldn't have any effort or effrontery to stop what God has already ordained. So for this little clarification, I want to congratulate the author of this book for a well-researched book, even though it's a journalistic writing, but he applied all principles of research and all his data are verifiable. So with this, I say congratulations, my elder brother, Dr. Kumanga, and I hope you will also be the one to write the memoirs of the governor when he intends to write his memo, because you have done a good job with this book. In my opinion, I think we look at this book in three perspectives. We look at the book itself, we look at the state, and we look at the man, Governor Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri. The book is not just like an autobiography, but it's a collection of all the achievements and effort and resilience by the man, Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri. And the state, Adamawa State, as I said earlier, is the most diverse state in Nigeria, housing over 100 ethnic dialects. Well, Finitiri is in the forefront of our quest for cosmopolitan identity. And we have achieved it. I want to boast that Adamawa State today is the most cosmopolitan state when it comes to identity. And this is achieved largely by the effort of Governor Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri. At this level, due to want of time, I want to read out the names of people that came with me and that will jointly unveil this book. And these names are as follows. I'm here with Professor Isa Chiroma, the immediate past Director General of Nigerian Law School. He is unveiling this book with the sum of 5 million naira. I'm also here with Senator Binta Masi Garba. She also unveiled this book with the sum of 2 million naira. I'm here with Alhaji Hamisu Medugu, also unveiled this book with the sum of 2 million naira. I'm here with Professor Sadiq Abba, TVC Academics, University of Abuja, also unveiled this book with the sum of 2 million naira. I'm here also with my colleague, Professor Abdul Karim Kana, SA. He also unveiled this book with a sum of 1 million naira. I'm here also with Commodore Yubi Sali Bodes. He also unveiled this book with a sum of 1 million naira. Honorable Aras also unveiled this book with the sum of 1 million naira. Alhaji Abdullahi Barde, my elder brother, the Pro-Chancellor of Maritime University, Ekerenkoko, also unveiled this book with a sum of 2 million naira. I'm also here with my elder brother, Alhaji Ismail Numan, former PAMSEC Minister of Defense. He unveiled this book with a sum of 5 million naira. I also have a message from a friend of Adamawa State, Honorable Imad Betara. He unveiled this book with a sum of 20 million naira. I also have, among my entourage, my kid brother, Mahmoud Nuhu Ribado. He also unveiled this book with a sum of 5 million. Also, my boss, the governor of Nasarawa State, who just left, he has ordered me to unveil this book with an undisclosed amount that I will contact the local organizing committee with the amount he unveiled the book with. So also, as a chief unveiler, I'm unveiling this book with a lot of things, not just cash, but also in kind, which is going to be duly communicated to the organizing committee of this book event. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the honor. Thank you very much, Adamawa State.
Comrade Mustafa, thank you very much for your generosity. I would like to request that you remain standing, sir. You remain standing. And all the co-unveilers that are present in the podium, yes, sir. Could you please do us the honor of coming to unveil this book together? It's a historic moment. All our co-unveilers that have been mentioned, and you are in the hall, come over.
Very sorry, Your Excellencies. I don't want to short the amount to be for the organizing committee. My ally, Alhaji Bapulo, my wada, also unveiled this book with a sum of 20 million naira.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the government and people of Bauchi State have unveiled this book with a sum of 50 million naira.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first, I want to thank the author of this book for recognizing certain very rare qualities in our governor. His Excellency, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Finitiri, the governor of Adamawa State. One thing nobody can take away from him is his raw courage. He has courage. He has guts. He was able to give the people of Adamawa State hope, and then he made sure that those hopes were accomplished. The inability of those people to stop him is like the PDP spirit. No matter how they try, they cannot stop the PDP. So on behalf of the leadership of PDP worldwide, the greatest party in Africa, we want to support the unveiling of this book with a paltry sum of 10 million naira. Don't forget, we are in opposition.
I thought
The governor of Bauchi unveiled on behalf of all of us, but he said I have to make my own. Well, I'm unveiling this book with 5 million. I'm a poor man.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing in for myself and a brother, His Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State, who is honorably absent today, and he asked me to unveil this book, the sum of 5 million naira on behalf of himself and the government of Taraba State, as well as I'm unveiling this book personally with the sum of 5 million naira as well.
Also, I just received a text. The governor of Yobe State, His Excellency Malabuni, has unveiled this book with the sum of 20 million naira. The same thing with the governor of Borno State, has unveiled this book with the sum of 20 million naira. The governor of Gombe State, Inuayaya, also unveiled this book with the sum of 20 million naira. The governor of Nasarawa State, who just left, also unveiled with the sum of 20 million naira. Thank you very much. On behalf of my elder brother, the National Vice Chairman, Northeast of the old Democratic Congress, I don't know the name of the party, has also unveiled this book with a sum of 5 million naira. Thank you very much.
Central, Senator from Central.
Your Excellencies, on behalf of the 3 senators from Adamawa State, myself, Senator Aminu Abbas, Senator Reverend Amos Yohana, we are jointly unveiling this book with the sum of 6 million naira.
Excellency, on behalf of myself, my family, and good people of Kwara State, I unveil this with a sum of 10 million naira.
Thank you, Your Excellencies, and all distinguished ladies and gentlemen here. On behalf of the members of the House of Representatives, we are unveiling this with a sum of 5 million naira.
Your Excellencies, our leaders, on behalf of the Adamawa State House of Assembly, we are unveiling the book with a sum of 10 million. Thank you.
His Excellency James Balangalari also unveiled this book with a sum of 500,000 naira.
Your Excellencies, as my national chairman already unveiled this book with 5 million naira, I am unveiling this book on behalf of PDP Adamawa State with the sum of 3 million.
Your Excellencies, on behalf of the Adamawa State Executive Council, we unveil this book with the sum of 5 million naira.
Your Excellency, on behalf of the 21 Council Chairman of Adamawa State, that is Algon, we are unveiling this book with a sum of 21 million naira. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellencies.
Your Excellencies, Royal Highnesses, on behalf of my GMD of Zenith Bank PLC, Dame Dr. Adora AOG, we unveil with the sum of 5 million naira. Thank you.
Your Excellency, I have a message from your friend who not like his name to be mentioned, but we are unveiling. He said I should unveil this with 10 million naira.
Thank you, Your Excellencies, for your generosity. We'll take the donations later, please, because of time. Because of time, sorry, sir. I'd like to invite Your Excellencies to unveil the book. Permit me, if we have not taken... We're going to spell Finitiri let's spell Finitiri. Everyone say F-I-N-T-I-R-I. Finitiri, the man that could not stop. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Congratulations, Your Excellencies. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was brilliant. Thank you for the photograph. Give space for the Excellencies to go back to their seats. Kindly make way for them, please. Kindly make way. Thank you very much. Cameramen, can we make way for the Excellencies to get back to their seats? Let's make way, please. Let's make way. Kindly create space for His Excellencies to go back to their seats. Please. No picking of the book, please. No picking of the book. If you're not on the podium. Thank you very much. Thank you. Can you all please go back to your seats, please? Can we take care of this?
On behalf of the Government of People's Forum, we'd like to unveil the book with a sum of 5 million naira. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Excellencies.
Wait. Stay back. We are
Thank you.
Your Royal Highnesses, can we please suspend all activities? Our executive governor is standing. We cannot be rowdy. Please. The protocol demands that once His Excellency is standing, every other thing is suspended. Can our royal fathers kindly be escorted back to their seats? Thank you very much. Media people, can we please make way for their Royal Highnesses to go back to their seats? Your Excellency, esteemed Governor, sir, Can you proceed for your speech, sir? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you please take your seat, please?
Let's have quietness and orderliness in the hall, please. Our governor is talking, please.
The chairman of this occasion, His Excellency Abdullahi Sule, the governor of Nasarawa State, and my senior brother and chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, distinguished Senator Abdul Qadir Mohammed, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, Professor Farauta George, the Deputy Governor of Oyo State, the keynote speaker of this occasion, and our leader, distinguished Senator Bokola Saraki, former Senate President, the book reviewer, Most Reverend Bishop Matthew Kuka, the book unveiler, and my younger brother, Comrade Mustafa Saliu, the chairman of the Northeast APC, former governor of Kano State, distinguished Senator Shekarau Ibrahim, the Sardauna Kano, the Honorable Speaker of Adamawa State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Batia Wesley, the CJ, Justice Abdurrahman, members of the National Assembly, and former members of the National Assembly that are with us, His Royal Highness, the Lamido of Adamawa, and the Chairman of Adamawa Council of Chiefs, Your Royal Highnesses, our Emirs and Chiefs, the National Chairman, and members of the NWC of the PDP, Kabiru Turaki, SAN, former chairman of PDP and National Working Committee, the state chairman of PDP and your working committee, the state chairman of APC and your working committee, my senior brother, the former SGF, Babachir Lawal, BOT members of our party, the SSG, the Chief of Staff, members of the State Executive Council, our service commanders, invited distinguished dignitaries, good friends of Finitiri, gentlemen of the press, good afternoon. I welcome everyone. Your presence here today is not just a matter of convenience, but a testament to the significance of this event. I sincerely appreciate that you have taken the time from your busy schedule to share this moment with us. Your presence is not just invaluable, it is the very essence of this gathering, and we are internally grateful for your gesture. I thank profusely my friends and colleagues, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, for agreeing to chair this occasion despite a short notice. I equally salute in no small measure my leader and friend, His Excellency Abdul Qadir Abubakar Bokola Saraki, CON, former governor of Kwara State and president of Nigerian 8th Senate, for making out time not only to be here, but to deliver a keynote speech. It is my fervent belief that what he has just delivered is key enough to unlock the doors that take us deeper into the knowledge of what is required to fertilize democratic echoes and entrench the culture of electoral sanctity and protection of the people's mandate against electoral banditry in Nigeria. Similarly, I thank Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kuka, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese and founder of the Kuka Center, who reviewed today's book with a characteristic brilliance that can only be done by him. Father Kuka is one Nigerian whose intellectual prowess fascinates not only the ecclesiastical congregation where he is spiritually called, but even those of us outside the church whose penchant for the truth and the courage to say it knows no bound. This afternoon, we are gathered to unveil the book titled Finitiri, the Man They Could Not Stop. This task is led by my younger brother, Dr. Mustafa Saliu, the APC National Vice Chairman, Northeast Zone. I sincerely thank him for this role. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, even though the book carries both my face and my name on its cover, I must confess that I'm yet to read it. I can only but accept the honor of being at the flank of the discussion, but central to the discourse is the 2023 election and its surrounding machinations. The book already has a reviewer who has provided a glimpse of what to expect in it. I must equally admit that the author, Mr. Solomon Kimangara, has all my endorsement to write this book. I have known Solo, as we used to call him, and still do, for close to 50 years. If there is any endowment Solo has in reckless abundance, since our days as young boys at GDS's Gulag, it is the act of writing. Solo writes very well. His journey into journalism was therefore a chronographed fait accompli. Having worked with him as my Director General on media and publicity, I also do know that sometimes his pen can be caustic and venomous, and his ink can stink like bees. If by any chance any name is mentioned in the book that could not dodge Solo's characteristics onslaught, that name should be ready to make do with the sting or hit back at the author. Today, this is Solo's book. If anybody has a different version to this narrative, as most authors will say, they are at liberty to write their own. He has written his own based on the available information he will scope as a journalist and as the Director General of Media and Publicity of our team for 4 years. This book is a journalistic account with its limitation both in depth and size. I can't make excuses for him, but one thing is certain. The work has made a pioneering depot to the shelf of future narratives on many issues that form part of our formative 4 years as government in Adamawa State. Most fundamentally are the machinations that form the embattled 2023 election. The last is not yet heard from the election. There are more people with better informed narratives on the 2023 elections in Adamawa State. And I believe that they are on their way with more books. Thank you, Solo, for opening the way, and congratulations for this. Going back to the title of the book, Finitiri, the Man They Could Not Stop. The story of the attempt to stop me cannot be told in a single book. I'm a man of destiny. There were many numerous fertile shots at stopping me. The 2023 election was just the height of them. And an embarrassing one, not only to the state, but to the nation and to the democracy globally. In 2023, we saw treachery. We saw assault. We saw moral compromise of a bankrupt elite, marked as patriots. But most importantly, we saw support and resilience of the true Adamawa people and friendship that goes beyond the state. If 2023 had not happened, we wouldn't have known some people for who they are. Pretentious greedy, opportunistic, and desperate, yet crying the victim and still claiming to democratic credentials they are distant from. The sad news is that this clique of pretenders and political puppeteers are still around, shuttling between Yola and Abuja, shamelessly and dangerously hovering around our democracy. Nigeria must not wait for our justice system to deal with them. We must, as we did in 2023, resist them with our votes and unmask them to the world. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is so much in the womb of 2023. I hope to come up with a full disclosure in my memo. In the fullness of time, the story has just begun. Once again, thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that remarkable speech. I want to say a great thank you to the Executive Governor of Adamawa State, our fresh air governor, for his gracious words and for his exemplary leadership that has inspired this book. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I want to invite to the podium Dr. Edgar Amos for his closing remark. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellencies, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, my task is to simply say thank you. And I begin by thanking God immensely for the gift of today and the grace to have had a very successful book launch. I profoundly thank the chairman of the occasion, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule, the engineer's engineer who is powerfully engineering a new Nasarawa state. Governor Sule and Governor Finitiri are kindred spirits of sorts, as you can see from their achievements. And I believe that their footprints on the sands of time will remain indelible. I wish on behalf of the organizers to also thank His Excellency Senator Bukola Saraki, the indefatigable scion and Iroko of the Saraki dynasty. When the late K.O. Mbadiwe talked of men of timber and caliber, look no further than the likes of Senator Bukola Saraki. Saraki too could not be stopped, despite booby traps on his political path, especially when he wanted to become the Senate President. It is fitting that he accepted to be the special guest of honor, and sir, thank you very much. I wish to thank the highly cerebral, irrepressible, and respected Bishop Matthew Kuka, the book reviewer, who I know very well, although not at a personal level, but through his books, which I have many. I recall one of his articles when he visited Kenya and bought some books, one of which was, I Will Marry When I Want. I was worried that he was contemplating to leave the priesthood. Thank God that he is still there, and immense thanks to him. We are grateful for making his distinguished presence, eloquence, wit, sense of humor, moral clarity, and intellectual honesty available for us today. Thank you very much, sir. Immense gratitude to Comrade Mustafa Salihu. Maybe if Karl Marx were alive, he would have something to say for bourgeoisies who still claim to be comrades. But maybe comrade bourgeoisie all the same. Thank you very much. When we contacted Comrade Salihu Mustafa to be the unveiler of this book, not only did he readily accept, he requested us to also invite a number of his associates. As we can see, he did, and we are immensely grateful. We thank you very much. We thank Kauram Bauchi, other deputy governors, other distinguished party stalwarts, senators, and everyone who has made today a reality. I wish to thank Solomon Kumanga for conceiving and researching and writing on this book. The man they could not stop. Thank you for your courage. But ultimately, we wish to thank Governor Finitiri himself. Through his life, through his resilience, through his tenacity, he has provided a subject for a book and has given us an opportunity to not just unveil a book, but to celebrate tenacity, calmness, integrity, vision, and faith in God. Thank you very much, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Chief of Staff. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies.
Jami'an tsaro kadai a taimaka kada a rikita wurin, ku ba mu haɗin kai yadda taron ya fara ɗaukar seti. Mun gode kwarai.